Hey, what's going on, guys? And in this video, I'm going to show you how my client Eli lost 45 pounds in just 3 months. Here's his before and after. All right, pretty impressive, right? So now, when Eli came to me, this is what he was struggling with, right? He was struggling with binge eating, right? Keeping the weight off, self-sabotage, inconsistent with his workouts and nutrition, and he also lacked structure. He tried to do different diets that were too restrictive, right? He tried different workouts, but he was inconsistent with them, right? And he also tried a coach. I was shocked. I'm like, what happened? The coach wasn't giving him the results he wanted, nor the communication, and ultimately he was just happy with his experience. And so when he came to me, he also felt low confident, felt shitty about himself, and he lacked a lot of energy. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you through everything we did to get him to lose those 45 pounds in 3 months. And at the end, you're gonna see his testimonial. Let's go. Once he signed up, we went right on to the next step, which is I sent him a meal plan form. The meal plan form is very important so I can understand what foods he likes and what foods he doesn't like. It's a lot easier to follow a plan that you enjoy versus a plan that you don't enjoy, right? Number 2, I gave him access to my private training app. In my private training app, he has everything structured, right? He has his workout structured, he has his nutrition structured. And that way everything is in one place, not in your email, not over in your notes or your text messages. Everything is in one place and it's easier to follow. Then the next day he got on an onboarding call. On an onboarding call, we went over everything, his macros, his workouts. He said he can commit to 5 days a week. And I'll go more into that in the next step, right? And now, we laid down the progress structure. This is a thing most people do not really do. You need to learn how to measure progress. So the way we structure progress, right, is we weigh in every Friday, number 1, and the most important one, which most people miss, is photos. Most people don't like to take photos. You don't like the way you look. I get that. But in order for us to know if you're losing body fat and gaining muscle is by photos. The scale does not tell you if you gained muscle. It just tells you whether you lose weight or gain weight. It's not the best way to just only track progress. So we took photos day 1, simply like this, simply like this, simply like this. And every 2 weeks we take photos. We don't take photos every week, we take photos every 2 weeks. That is the next step once he signed up. So now I built out his macro meal plan, right? So if you still don't know what macros are, it's protein, carbs, and fats. It's macronutrients. These are the things that if you're not tracking, it's most likely why you're overweight or you have body fat. It's the reason he was 45 pounds overweight. He didn't know what his macros were. He didn't even know what macros were, right? So what I did is I crafted him his own personalized macros that were gonna benefit him. So we started him off with 160 grams of protein a day. We got him to do 150 grams of carbs a day, and we did 40 grams of fat a day, right? After that, I taught him how to track his macros on the app MyFitnessPal. So the goal is to every single day track your macros, and at the end of the day to send me a screenshot. So he would go at the end of the day just like this, and he would send me a screenshot of his macros. That is for the accountability, for me to make sure that he's on track. If he messes up, I can get him back on track by making a couple tweaks. Hey, make sure you did this. Or why didn't you track? What happened? Oh, like I was running late, things like that. Okay, let's not make that happen again. Let's make sure that you prepare in advance. He's like, yes, I got it. Next time I'll prepare tomorrow morning my meal, right? And so an example of one of his meals that he was able to contribute to these macros is this. So he had an option between 150 grams of cooked salmon, 140 grams of cooked chicken, or 150 grams of 99% lean turkey. So he can pick from one of these 3, right, for that one meal, for a second meal. So he would pick, say, salmon. From there, he had 2 choices. He can either pick 150 grams of cooked jasmine rice or 175 grams of sweet potato. So he can pair any of these 3 with any of these 2. And so once he pairs those up, he goes to his MyFitnessPal and he plugs it in just like I taught him to. And that will bring these numbers down. So at the end of the day, with meal number 2, meal number 3, meal number 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, he will be able to hit these numbers. And again, he realized that he was actually eating more food than he thought. The biggest misconception people would think is like you have to eat very, very little. But in reality, you have to eat nutrient-dense food. And so you're eating good here. And that's another reason why he was able to stick with it. He's not eating just bland chicken, right? He can have turkey, he can have salmon. I'm like, seasonings, don't worry about it. To put any seasoning you want. Sauces, I send them a list of recommendations of different types of sauces that you can use to make your food taste good. Biggest misconception people have is everything has to be bland. So this is one of his meals. Those were his macros, and he made sure he tracked it. And every single night before he went to bed, he would take a screenshot and he would send it to me. So now let's talk about the workout, okay? When I first asked him, hey, can you dedicate anywhere between 3 to 4 days a week to working out? He actually said that he can do 5 days a week. I'm like, awesome. I'm like, look, your workouts are gonna be no longer than 30 to 40 minutes and no cardio. Shocker. Most people think you have to do cardio to lose weight. He didn't do any cardio to lose those 45 pounds. Why? Because it wasn't the lack of cardio that made him gain weight. It was his misconception about food, binge eating more than what he's burning, right? So he did no cardio for those 3 months. It was workouts, lifting weights, and following his macronutrient plan, all right? And he actually worked out at home. So he had a few pieces of equipment at home and we worked with that. Vice versa, you don't have to work out at home, you work out at the gym, or you can work out at home. It doesn't really matter. As long as you're able to dedicate 30 to 40 minutes at a time, 3 to 4 days a week, you're fine. But he decided to do 5 days. And with my private training app, you actually get your own schedule. So let's look at one of the days, chest and back. And every single workout,
Now we have flat dumbbell bench press. So when you're doing these,
I took videos to explain to you what you have to do. So he had every rep and he put down all his reps and all his sets. Then he would continue on to the next workout, right?
Lat pull downs, again, look at my thumbs, they're not wrapped around the bar. As you do this,
so every workout, I explain exactly how to do the right form. If he's never worked out like that, I helped him work out and learn better form so he can do this for the long run, right? Number 2, which is really important, the daily accountability. Every single morning, we would check in. Good morning, how are you doing? How are you feeling today? Awesome, let's have a great day today. Nighttime check-ins. He sends me his macros. How was your day? How was your workout? Nutrition, good. If anything came up, I could answer his questions. So he always felt like he was guided. I'll show you a little bit here. We're always going back and forth. Every single macro, sending me his nighttime macros. Macros before bed, in the morning, right? Always, hey brother, yeah man, see? So that's what we did. That was the next step. So then how did that amount to losing 45 pounds in 3 months? So he was in a calorie deficit, right? So he's eating less than he's burning. Example, he was burning, let's say 2,300 calories and he was eating, let's say 1,800 calories. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but when you're eating enough food to feel full, right? You won't get cravings. See, 3 glazed donuts is about 900 calories. And let's be honest, you can eat 3 glazed donuts in 3 bites. Simple, right? That's 900 calories. The meal that I just showed you, which was the salmon, the chicken, the ground turkey, or the rice and sweet potato, that meal is around 450 to 500 calories. What's gonna keep you full longer? The 3 glazed donuts, 900 calories, or the salmon, the chicken, the ground turkey with the rice and potatoes, a nice full meal. You can add a cup of broccoli, which he did, right? That full meal of only 450 calories, 500 calories, what's gonna keep you full? That nutrient dense food. So which means we crushed the cravings. There was no cravings at the time because he was full majority of the time, right? Now, we focused also on building muscle. How do you build muscle? The right amount of protein, where he was having about 160 grams of protein. He weighed 245 pounds, right? And so he doesn't have 245 pounds of muscle. He has roughly anywhere between 170 to 180 pounds of muscle. How do I know that? I've been doing this for 11 years. So by looking at someone, he has about 30, he had about 45 pounds of fat, right? And so when you have the right amount of carbs, we never took carbs out. Carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are fuel for your workouts. The problem was that he was eating so many carbs and not using the carbs. So obviously your body's gonna store it. But when you have enough carbs in your system and you use those carbs for your workouts, your body gets rid of the carbs and eventually starts eating its own body fat for fuel. And so that is how he was able to drop body fat, keeping himself in a calorie deficit. He was able to not just maintain muscle, but build muscle because he was eating the right amount of protein and the right amount of carbs, 160 grams of protein and 150 grams of carbs. And he still felt full because it was nutrient dense food. So we kicked the cravings. So the key to Eli's success, it wasn't a restricted diet. It wasn't an extreme workout. It was a sustainable, structured plan that fit his lifestyle. And so if you want a proven system like Eli went through that delivers results, that's sustainable, click the link below and book your free coaching call with me. With that being said, here's Eli's testimonial about working with me.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to say that working with Alex was such a great experience. As soon as I started working with him, I quickly realized that getting in shape is so much more than just showing up at the gym. It is about having the right support system, the right guidance, the right nutrition, but most of all, the right mindset. And that is something that you will get with Alex. I believe that's what sets him apart. He will also empower you to make lifelong habits, not just short-term ones. In just 3 short months of working with him, I lost 45 pounds and my body got toned up. This is what it looks like now. This is nothing like what it was just 3 months ago. So I am so happy that I made the decision to work with him, and I cannot recommend him enough. And I'm also excited to see what the next 3 months will bring. So if you're ready to make a real transformation, take the challenge and start your own journey. I believe everyone owes it to themselves to invest in a better and healthier you. Thank you, Alex.